Hi YouTube. Today I'm gonna talk about unclean thoughts, unclean spirits. Sometimes they're hard to get rid of. Sometimes you're in a daze, so you're overtaken by them because of some of the actions that you have already took or decisions that you have made that pretty much put you in a compromising position. You were going through, probably wasn't even thinking rational, probably in a daze, whatever the case may be. But the sin is done. It has happened. It's done, and now you're left dealing with the consequences of those sins. And they don't want to easily release you. Um, you no longer indulges in you haven't indulged in that type of behavior for quite some time. You haven't gave in to temptation. You haven't done the things that you used to do, but for some weird reason the spirit is still sticking around along with his buddies. Like, we're not gonna turn you loose, we're not gonna release you, we're not gonna let you go, you know, because of the fact that you are changing yourself, you are growing. And one thing about growth, your enemy never wants to see you grow. They will do all kinds of things to keep you from growing and keep you from having happiness. Where you defeat your enemy is when no matter what takes place, you're happy. It's like, you ever seen a person that's always calm even when they're angry? Um, these are some of the most scariest people because they have lived life and they know life, so they're always calm even when they're angry. Um, that's the same way with dealing with unclean spirits. Somehow they have mastered it, so no matter what's taking place, they're in a calm state, like as if they don't even stress it. Storm burns down the house and takes the whole house, and the storm picked the house up and threw it away or whatever, and they're sitting there and just in the middle in a seat, just calm as can be, and you're sitting up there, you're just hysterical, you're just, what is this, what type of crap is this? And you're upsetting, you're voicing your opinion and stuff like that. All this mess going on, what type of mess is this, you know? um the one who has the experience of dealing with it is sitting there calm, cool and collect. They're in the same situation as you, but they're calm, they're cool, they're collect. They just know that, look, it's a storm, it'll pass. No, like somewhat like Jesus, when the storm hit and he's sleeping on the boat, he's knocked out sleep. Hard down sleep, snoring and everything, slob coming out the mouth and all, just enjoying his sleep. And here comes the disciples. Hey, we about to die. Man, this storm is crazy out here. you know? And he's like, what are you worried about? you shouldn't even be worried about this. Sometimes that's how people are with unclean spirits, and it's a reason why. Um, when I first started dealing with unclean spirits, I was thrown into a situation unaware. I mean, seriously, thrown into the situation unaware of what was happening around me. Why were these people doing this to me? And this was one of the questions that I asked, like, why are they like this? Why is this happening to me? I never did anything to nobody. I'm not a mean person. I'm not a nasty person. I'm not a manipulative person. I'm not deceitful. What is this about? And I remember certain stuff. We're gonna make an example out of you. We're gonna do this to you, and we're gonna do that to you, and stuff like that. And I became very angry and very upset with what was told to me, and how they wanted to make an example out of me, and how they wanted to do all this stuff to me, and the manipulative tactics that was being used, and deceit, and so many different things taking place. And around this time, I thought that I was having a mental breakdown. So with me thinking that I'm having a mental breakdown, I'm just trying to function normally when everything around me is abnormal. Um, it's warning signs being given, but I'm kind of ignoring it because I'm thinking like mentally I'm insane because this is impossible. In order for this to be, this has to be, and that should not have been, and not even thinking logical about the attacks that was taking place on me and against me. And I remember going through the temptation sexually, had no idea that certain things had taken place with my body, uninvited guesses, spiritual guesses, uninvited people, manipulating and deceiving to get their way because they felt like I had won in some kind of way, like as if I was a victor in some kind of way. I don't even understand it because my life wasn't much of an extraordinary life. When I say extraordinary, I was just a common person, just living everyday life. I can't even understand the attack itself. Like, it's not like I got like a mansion, a lot of money. It's it's not like Kobe Bryant or something, or it ain't like I'm LeBron or Jerry Rice back in the days, um Denzel Washington, um Learn Fitzgerald. I'm none of these people. I ain't got no money, I ain't got no nothing. So I could not understand the attack itself. I couldn't understand half of the stuff that's going on. I'm like, people need to live their life. They need to live it flamboyantly. They need to live their life and they need to be happy. But it's an attack still going on as I'm saying this and verbalizing this that I was oblivious to. And so waking up to this attack on my body, my family, my children. Remind you, my children had went through years of being under attack with no guidance. So that had its repercussions as well. Where your child is going through years of attack, but it does not have the proper guidance because you're not even aware of the attack. They're not verbalizing these attacks to you. They're not saying anything. They're being touched on. They're being raped. They're being molested. All kinds of stuff is taking place. And they're not verbalizing it. And even when they do verbalize it, you're too out of it to address some of the issues that are taking place, or you have a family member saying, "Oh, I'll deal with it," so you kind of disregard it. And these are fruits of unclean spirit or whatever. This video I'm gonna go over a little bit. I probably go to about 20 minutes instead of my normal 10, but you're kind of out of it and you don't know how to deal with it. My first thing is this: I always tell people the commandments of the Bible will help you through it. But truth be told, you can get those commandments of the Bible and be manipulated clean out of those commandments. When I tell you deception is so real, like, you can get those commandments out of the Bible and just be pretty much clean manipulated. You're dating. Thou shalt not commit adultery or fornication. So you're sitting up there, you dating this gentleman or this young woman, and you're giving into sexual activities and sexual conduct. Others are coming in and manipulating on that, and stuff like that, because now you have an emotional attachment and you're attached to the young woman, and they're looking for war with you in more than one way. So, and you're not prepared for any of the wars in which they're looking at you for. And just clean being manipulated by the situation, other people taking advantage of you, violating your bedroom space, violating you without your permission. These type of things happen. Another thing, thou shalt not steal. um you don't have anything compared to someone that has everything. You don't have no income coming in, you won't have no money coming in, you don't have anything. And remember, I told you about greed and how greed plays to make you greedy and do things that you're not supposed to do. So now comes the compromising situation. They want you on a stripper pole. So if you're a young woman, stripper pole, prostitution, everything you name of that'll defile you. That's what they want you into. Porn, all that stuff. They want you into that just to make money for yourself and to demeanor yourself. Young men, traps, that's for you. Drug selling, out in the streets, you a game banger, you shooting up the place and everything. And sometimes these go both hand in hand on both situations. They want you pretty much, and if you're not for all of that, you pretty much stay at the bottom with nothing. And then temptation comes in, unclean spirits come in. Why don't you just take what you want? Why don't you just steal it? Why don't you do this and why don't you do that? And that's another commandment violation. And if um it's not done that way, it's done through other ways of manipulation. It's not until it gets so bad where you using public locations to get water to bathe with and stuff like that, and you're looking at it and you're saying, you know, hey, I'm doing this the right way, but I'm still not prospering anything. You know, just continue to sow your seeds of doing things the right way. You know, I'm constantly looking for a job. No jobs are coming through for me. And when I say you have probably called every place in your city, surrounding cities, you have left out the county, the state, and everything, looking for a job, but to no avail, or whatever the case may be. This is another manipulation to bring about unclean spirits. The way you counter that is to stay grounded. Other manipulations, child molestation, or having you think of children in a sexual way, or thinking of women in a sexual way, men in a sexual way. I don't care if you're straight, gay, or whatever. These are tactics that are used to destroy you. You are constantly defeating them, constantly. Not giving into this type of thought process, not giving into these type of things, but they keep trying to register all these things to you. Guys that come up to you, they're nice looking guys, handsome guys, or whatever, trying to talk to you, and you're not giving into that. So they say, oh, well, this one won't talk to guys. Maybe this one likes women. Or the opposite, it's a man. So the man won't talk to women. So maybe he like men. So they start sending men, or start sending your opposite sex at you. And you're sitting up there, you're like, look, man, I'm not into that. I'm focusing on me. It's all about me. I don't have time for you all. I'm thinking about me. And these are all temptations that they're using against you. So when you don't think about the men, the women, or nothing, they start coming at you with children and unclean thoughts about children and all kinds of things. The children won't approach you. I don't know how bold this gets. God knows I don't. They may. I don't know how bold it gets, because I have heard of men being approached by younger women at younger ages, and pretty much being taken advantage of. So it can happen. Just be careful, but giving into that temptation of certain things, it's the same thing. It's always something that they're trying to throw you off your game with. I can't get this person this way, so I'm going to get them that way. And then the other thing you have to look at, when you have passed all these tests during wartime, and you passed it, war is over with. You done passed. You good. You waving your flag like, yes, I'm a conqueror. I want it. It's time for me to get up and take on the world. You get what I'm saying? And as you're getting up and you're taking on the world, I must tell you, you fall into that daze. It's a daze. It's like being oblivious to a lot of things. It's another attack. even though you advance, you don't want all these different attacks, it's still another attack with unclean spirits where they're sitting up there, even though you conquered the uncleanliness, they're still attacking you, trying to force you into that while you're in your utopia or your form of bliss. Or, and when I say a form of bliss, we are taught that bliss is pleasantly what, ignorant of threats that are taking place around them. They're like children. You're not even aware that these threats are around you, that they even pose a threat to you. So you're oblivious to it. So you're in a form of utopia or a form of happiness, and a scream state of happiness and stuff. And while you're in this extreme state of happiness, that's when this sneak attack comes in. When you done spent years staying to yourself, not talking to a man, all of a sudden you see one that may be worthwhile, or a woman that may be worthwhile, and you're like, hey, maybe this is the right person to get with. Maybe this is the person that I can probably stick it out with. Instead of staying the way you are, you kind of let go. And when you let that guard go, a whole fleet of enemies just rush in to destroy you spiritually and fill you with uncleanliness and stuff like that. Because a lot of times you don't resist sex. When you and this person been together all this time, you are not telling him, look, I have to wait until I get married or whatever. And then you also got to look at this. You get married. Other attacks now coming because you are a union. So his sins begin to play on you. And what that means is your husband's out there cheating, running around with 100 women. And it's another person who sent those 100 women and they want you. Or vice versa. Your woman out there running with somebody else or dating somebody else. It could be one person, it could be many. Like I said, they don't care. And you're out there dating somebody else, and you know that you're married, you know that you got somebody at home, and now you're bringing your spiritual uncleanliness into the house because y'all are one spirit. So every time you go out there and you do what you do, you sow your royal oats or whatever you do as a woman or a man, you bring that spiritual uncleanliness home. And it's a lot for them to deal with. I remember having to turn down jobs because I was like, this karma, it's going to come back on me, my family, my children. I can't have that, because a lot of times the kids suffer not because of what they done, but because of what their parents done. Some people way down in the family line are doing wrong, and we can't understand why these children are going through. It's because some other stuff that went on years and years and centuries ago is finally now saying, look, somebody got to pay for this, and the person that was supposed to pay for it is no longer here, or has passed on, or dead, or whatever the case may be, and somebody still has to pay the price for this. So your children and your children's children are inheriting curses and punishment from things that you have done, from stuff that you have been a part of or partaker in, whether you were conscious of it or unconscious of it. So when certain people ask me, well, will you come work this type of job? No, I can't work that type of job. I would love to, but I can't work it because I know what comes behind it. I know that it's going to hurt me and my family later on. So don't just think of yourself as protecting yourself against these unclean spirits, but protecting your family also, because certain things that you do can actually cost the whole house and the whole family. Whether you're a man or a woman, because we're taught that the man is the head of the household, but women, sometimes you have to lead, and when he's not there, you have to lead, sometimes even when he is there, because just because he's a man does not mean he's where he needs to be. So just prepare yourself, and just knowing that whatever you're doing now can cost the family later. and can cost them a whole lot, and you're not going to want to pay that price, and you're not going to want your family to pay that price. So be careful with these unclean spirits. Be careful with the stuff that you do, the things that you choose, the lies that you tell to your children, because these lies sometimes take root, and at some point somebody's going to manipulate these children because of the lies. So make sure that you're telling them the truth. Like I said, it's so much I want to talk about on the subject of uncleanliness. I definitely be doing another video about it.